here from Southern Delight. I'm so glad that you joined me today. Well, if you hadn't done so already, you might want to go ahead and watch the video where you see myself and my husband have actually constructed a life-size Nutcracker. This guy right here behind us. But today I'm going to share with you the reason that I actually constructed the Nutcracker. I was inspired by a little short story that I happened to write, and I needed something for visual effects, so my husband and I happened to put together this guy, and we have named him. This right here is a Nutcracker named Christian. And Christian is a very unique Nutcracker, and I handcrafted him, my husband and I did. We used some 5-gallon buckets, a 2-gallon bucket, a flower pot, and a lot of imagination and a lot of little bedazzling going on there. But I also wanted to share with you the little story that I wrote, and this story is probably good for a child ages 5 and up, and I think some of the big kids enjoyed it too. But we'll go ahead and get started. A Nutcracker named Christian. Once upon a time, in a little small town called Liberty, there was a young boy named Toby. Toby was an 8-year-old boy who lived at a town orphanage. Toby was rather quiet and reserved. Some would say he was a bit of an introvert. He loved to read and study history. Christmas time was on the horizon. It was only a month away. Toby was overjoyed with excitement. He had hoped this would be the year that he would get a permanent home for the holidays. He longed to have a family again, maybe one with a sibling or two. That would be nice. One afternoon, Toby was looking out the window, and it had begun to snow outside. Most of the children bundled up and went out to play. Toby decided to stay in and sit by the fire to read. There was an older gentleman that volunteered at the orphanage, who sat by the fire with Toby. "Hello, how are you, young man?" the volunteer said. Toby smiled and said, "Fine, sir." The two of them sat and warmed up by the fire and began to talk. Toby asked the man, "So what do you do, sir?" The man began to talk about his life. "I am a soldier." Toby smiled and his eyes lit up. "A soldier? What kind of soldier are you?" he replied. The man replied and said, "I am a soldier of special task." He reached into his pocket and he pulled out a Nutcracker, and he handed it to Toby. And he said, "This is Christian. Christian wears a helmet of salvation, a belt of truth, a breastplate of righteousness, and carries a shield of faith so that he can fight off the fiery darts of the enemy. He has a sword that will cut down giants. It is the sword of the Spirit, also known as the Word of God. His feet are fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace, and his mission is to pray in the Spirit for all of the Lord's people." Toby was intrigued. Tell me more," he said. So they sat and talked until the others returned to share the gospel with Toby, and he told him about Jesus, and he told him how much Jesus loved him. And he also told him that once we are saved, we all become soldiers for Christ. Toby was so excited. He said, "I want to be a soldier like you." "How can I become a soldier?" he said. The gentleman prayed with Toby, and he invited him to come down to the church around the corner on Sunday. When Sunday came around, Toby leaped out of the bed, got dressed, grabbed Christian, and away he went to the church. He saw the gentleman from the orphanage standing at the front door, shaking hands and inviting people into the church. And Toby looked up, in a daze at first, and he said, "You're a pastor." "Well, yes, I am," said the man. Toby looked up with tears in his eyes, and he said, "My father was a pastor like you." He hugged the man and wiped his tears, and skipped over to a pew into the middle of the church. For the first time since his parents passed, he felt home. He sat next to this sweet little couple, who he quickly made friends with. That Christmas day, Toby ended up getting saved. He also found the family that he had been longing for, and it was on this day that he became a soldier for Christ.